Did you hear? She gave birth to a snake on her wedding night. She's a witch, no doubt about it. Mother, you cannot just stand by and watch them call me a witch. They mock me, they scorn me, and now they say I am cursed. I cannot live like this, Mother. I am not a witch. How could I give birth to a snake? How? Help me, Mother, help me. Once upon a time, in a small village, love blossomed between Ayoka and Aduke. Their relationship was the talk of the town, not just because of their deep affection for each other, but also due to the challenges they faced. Ayoka was the only son of his mother, Iya Ayoka, a woman known for her fierce love for her child and her strict, often unforgiving nature. Aduke, on the other hand, was a beautiful daughter of a humble trader, a woman of grace and dignity who was loved by many but loathed by a few. As the months went by, Aduke discovered she was pregnant. Overwhelmed with joy, she shared the news with Ayoka, who immediately proposed marriage. However, there was one significant hurdle: Iya Ayoka. Ayoka knew his mother well, and deep down, he feared her reaction. She had always been critical of Aduke, never giving a clear reason for her disdain, but making it clear that she didn't approve of their union. Ayoka mustered the courage to bring Aduke home to his mother, hoping she would soften her stance once she knew Aduke was carrying her grandchild. But Iya Ayoka's reaction was far from what they expected. She vehemently refused to give her blessing for their marriage. "Over my dead body will you marry that girl?" Iya Ayoka's voice rang through the small, dimly lit room. Her eyes burned with an intensity that made Ayoka's heart sink. "She is not the one for you, Ayoka. I don't like her and I will never." "But Mama, she's pregnant. She's carrying your grandchild. How can you refuse us like this?" Ayoka pleaded, his voice cracking with desperation. "I don't care. I won't allow it. Do you think I'm blind? There is something about that girl that doesn't sit right with me, and I will not bless this union," Iya Ayoka declared, crossing her arms defiantly. For months, Ayoka and Aduke tried to change her mind. They begged, pleaded, and even involved elders in the village. But Iya Ayoka remained steadfast in her refusal. As Aduke's pregnancy progressed, her mother became increasingly worried. One evening, she called Aduke into her small hut, her voice filled with concern. "My daughter, listen to me carefully," her mother began. "You cannot give birth to this child in my house. You must move to your husband's house before you deliver. If you refuse to marry him now, I fear Ayoka will never marry you once the child is born. Do whatever it takes, Aduke. Do whatever it takes, so you must be married before you put to bed." Aduke's heart pounded with anxiety. Her mother's words echoed in her mind day and night. She knew she needed to act fast, or everything she had dreamed of would crumble. She began to pressure Ayoka relentlessly, urging him to marry her as soon as possible. "Ayoka, we must do this now," Aduke insisted one evening as they sat to discuss. But Aduke's heart felt heavy with fear. "If you don't get married before the baby arrives, everything will fall apart. Please, Ayoka, we can't wait any longer." Ayoka was torn. He loved Aduke deeply and wanted nothing more than to marry her. But his mother's refusal haunted him. Yet, as he looked into Aduke's pleading eyes, he knew he couldn't let her down. "All right, Aduke, we will get married, with or without my mother's blessing," Ayoka finally decided, his voice filled with determination. The wedding was a simple affair. The villagers gathered to celebrate the union, but the absence of Iya Ayoka loomed over the ceremony like a dark cloud. Whispers spread through the crowd, questioning what kind of mother would refuse to attend her only son's wedding. Despite the gossip, Ayoka and Aduke exchanged vows, their love shining brighter than the uncertainty that surrounded them. That night, after the festivities had ended, Aduke began to feel sharp pains in her stomach. The pain was intense, unlike anything she had ever experienced before. Ayoka, alarmed, rushed her to the village midwives. "It's too early," one of the midwives muttered as they helped Aduke into the small betting hut. "She's not due yet," they said. But the pains only grew stronger, and before long, Aduke was in the throes of labor. The midwives worked quickly, their experienced hands guiding her through the process. But when the child was finally born, a collective gasp filled the room. It was not a baby that emerged from Aduke's womb, but a snake, a long-reading serpent that slithered out onto the floor. The news spread through the village like wildfire. People were in shock, unable to comprehend how such a thing could happen. Whispers of witchcraft and curses filled the air, and Aduke became the subject of cruel gossip. "Did you hear? She gave birth to a snake on her wedding night. She's a witch, no doubt about it." "A snake? I've never heard of such a thing before." The days that followed Aduke's horrifying experience was filled with torment. The village was abuzz with gossip, and everywhere she went, she could feel the eyes of the villagers on her, their whispers trailing behind her like a shadow. Ayoka too was a broken man. He couldn't understand how his beautiful love story had turned into such a nightmare. His heart ached for Aduke, but the sight of the snake, his supposed child, left him shaken to his core. Every night, Aduke cried herself to sleep, her heart heavy with the weight of shame. The pain in her soul far surpassed the physical pain of childbirth. She no longer recognized herself. She had become a ghost in her own life, haunted by a fate she couldn't comprehend. One evening, after a particularly brutal day of enduring the villagers' cruel remarks, Aduke could no longer bear it. She rushed to her mother's house, her eyes swollen from crying, her voice trembling with desperation. "Mother, you cannot just stand by and watch them call me a witch," Aduke cried, collapsing onto the floor. "They mock me, they scorn me, and now they say I am cursed. If you do nothing, they will call you a witch, mother, too. I cannot live like this, mother. I am not a witch. How could I give birth to a snake? How? Help me, mother, help me." Aduke's mother, who had been trying to comfort her daughter, felt a deep pang of guilt and fear. She had never seen such a thing in her life, and like Aduke, she didn't know what to believe. But seeing her daughter in such agony forced her into action. She knew that they needed answers that no ordinary person could provide. "I will not rest until I find out what has happened," Aduke's mother promised, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside her. I will seek the wisdom of the elders and the guidance of the spirit. We will find the truth, Aduke. I will not let this injustice stand. Determined, Aduke's mother began her journey. She visited several spiritualists, traditional healers, and elders from neighboring villages. Each time, she relayed the story of her daughter's strange and tragic childbirth, pleading for guidance and understanding. Some spiritualists were baffled by the tale, while others sensed something more sinister at play. After many days of searching, one elderly spiritualist, a woman with deep-set eyes and a calm aura, finally offered insight. "This is no ordinary misfortune," the spiritualist said, her voice grave. "There is a dark force at work here, a curse laid upon your daughter, and the source of this curse is closer than you think. It comes from within your own family." Aduke's mother felt her heart skip a beat. "Who would curse my daughter?" The spiritualist looked at her with knowing eyes. "It is not your daughter they seek to harm, but the union she has formed. The child she carried was turned into a snake by someone who wanted to destroy her happiness. And the one who cast this curse is Ayoka's mother." Aduke's mother gasped, her mind racing with disbelief and anger. But why? Why would she do such a thing? Because she never wanted this marriage to happen. When your daughter and Ayoka defied her, she used dark magic to ensure that their union would be cursed. She turned the innocent child within Aduke's womb into a snake, hoping it would ruin their lives and drive them apart. With this revelation, Aduke's mother felt a surge of righteous fury. How could a mother curse her own grandchild? How could she inflict such pain on her own son and his wife? This wickedness could not go unpunished. The next day, Aduke's mother returned to the village, accompanied by the spiritualist and several elders who had agreed to help. They confronted Ayoka and Aduke, revealing the dark truth about his mother's actions. Ayoka was devastated. The news shattered him. He had always known his mother could be harsh, but he never imagined she would go to such lengths to destroy his happiness. "Mother, mother!" Ayoka confronted his mother with tears in his eyes. "How could you do such thing? How could you? To your own grandchild? What kind of mother causes her own son?" Iya Ayoka, cornered by the truth, tried to deny it at first, but under the intense scrutiny of the spiritualists and elders, she finally broke down and confessed. She admitted that she had sought the help of a dark witch to cast the curse, hoping it would prevent the marriage and force Ayoka to abandon Aduke. "I did it for you," Iya Ayoka cried. "I did it because I love you. I couldn't let you marry her. I couldn't let you marry her at all." "But you were wrong, mother," Ayoka said, his voice heavy with disappointment. "Your hatred and your fear have destroyed us. You have cursed an innocent life, and you have brought shame upon our family." The elders, appalled by Iya Ayoka's actions, decided that she needed to face the consequences of her evil deeds. They decreed that she would be banished from the village for life, never to return. She was stripped of her status and cast out, left to wander in the wilderness as punishment for her wickedness. As for Aduke, the spiritualist performed a cleansing ritual to remove the curse that had plagued her. Though the snake could never be turned back into a human child, the ritual freed her from the spiritual burden that had been placed upon her. The villagers, witnessing the power of the ritual, finally believed that Aduke was innocent of witchcraft. In time, the gossip and scorn began to fade, and Aduke and Ayoka were able to rebuild their lives. Though the memory of their child's tragic fate would always haunt them, they found solace in each other and in the knowledge that justice had been served. And so, the village learned a valuable lesson that love, and no matter how strong, must always be protected from the darkness that seeks to destroy it, and that evil deeds, no matter how well hidden, will always be brought to light. If you enjoyed this story, kindly like this video, drop a comment, and also share with your friends and family. Subscribe to this channel for more interesting stories than these. See you in the next video. Goodbye.